Hey, so you feel a burden? So maybe right now you feel like you're ever exaggerating the issue, your emotions. Maybe you feel like you're making a huge, big deal out of nothing. And maybe those around you tell you exactly that. That you need to get over yourself. That it could always be worse. While it's true, it's not exactly the most. Anything can always be worse. For example, I could say about my country how, every government has its, fuck ups. And someone could say, oh, it could always be worse. You could be in a, I forget which career it is, but the one that's like a prison. You could be, in a communist country. You could have no freedom. You could be a slave. You could be in a different year, and it's true it could always be worse, but that doesn't. Anything can always be worse. And it doesn't make your emotions, your feelings, any less valid. Don't get me wrong, there are some times where people they do over exaggerate. Why? There might be a reason behind it. Could be just the way they are. It could just be, some people are sensitive to different things. Or it could just be that maybe there's some psychological thing there, But the most advice I ever hear daily now is someone will feel rough or feel emotionally low. And the advice you'll hear is either why or just be positive. Now, there are people out there who've only had these emotions and feelings because they've been in a, let's say if someone's in debt and, it gives them depression and, they start to forget everything and stuff. But when that person hears about someone who is depressed because, emotions come and go, some of them just go, why? You have no reason to. And that doesn't make the emotion go away in it. And while others are convinced that, you just got to be positive, you just got to distract yourself. There's enough to be, depressed about. There's enough to be sad about. That's all right to say, but they're obviously sad for a reason. Or they're obviously upset. Obviously low. Emotions don't just, they, at the end of the day, emotions are temporary. And they don't always stay like that forever. But it doesn't make you feel any better someone saying that, just be positive. You have no reason to be upset. Then you've got the case of someone saying, some of them I've come across, they go, oh, I have a reason to be upset. I have an actual reason. You're also just, emotional moods. And this causes a lot of people to close down, to not talk, to not vent, to not let how they're feeling out. And it doesn't help them. And there are cases where, again, some people do exaggerate. And some things are the littlest things can bother them. But they're bothering them for a reason. If something bothers you, it bothers you. And people make you feel like a burden for even having just any feeling. And it's alright to say, it could always be worse. And and some of them are like, oh, you've got it, that's all. And it's and it's the worst advice to give. Because it's alright for some people to go, oh yeah, just be positive. And affirmations, they're powerful and there's scientific behind it, but using something and relying on something daily is not good. If you're going to literally just convince yourself you can make yourself better physically with some affirmation, it's the equivalent of being stabbed and saying, oh, I'm going to be fine. I'm fine. I'm not bleeding out internally. I'll be fine. I'll be okay. There's literally having hope, and then there's trying to placebo your way into hope. Trying to convince yourself that you'll be fine, when inside you're dying, you're struggling. And people do this a lot daily. They will tell themselves that, oh, I'm okay. I'm fine. It's something small. It shouldn't have bothered me. Small or not, if it bothers you, it bothers you. And people nowadays, they always want to compare their problems. Like, oh, it could always be worse. So, for example, I could take someone who is, let's say they found out they've just been diagnosed with bipolar. And someone goes, oh, yeah, it could always be worse. You could have cancer, or you could be, starving. You know what? It's not a good mindset. Things can always be worse. Of course everything could be worse. We could have a second plague, we could have nuclear war, but it doesn't help. It's not advice to give. And it makes people feel so ashamed, or just try and hold their own emotions because they feel like they can't even talk to anyone about them. You don't realise that, people don't realise that, little or not, your emotions are valid. You can compare your problems to someone else's. Let's say, you compare how you're feeling to someone who's in, like, an abusive, relationship. Obviously, severity of theirs is more important, and how they're feeling and stuff. And everyone's emotions are important at the end of the day. But people, a lot of them try and tell themselves, oh, yeah, it's just life. This is how it works. It's not just life. And you can't just shut emotions out. They're not a door you can just kill and say, oh, yeah, goodbye. I won't deal with you today. That's pathetic. That's just, forget I feel you. You should never compare your emotions to anyone else's. When you're helping someone out, maybe. When you're, giving someone advice, or you're trying to help someone out, and there's someone who's more in need, then yeah. When it comes to you, you can't compare. You can't compare how you're feeling to someone else. You could do that for everything. I could compare someone who has cancer to someone who has Parkinson's to someone who has, literally has all their muscles dying. Or deaf and blind. You should never compare yourself to anyone. And when you think you're being a burden, I doubt you are. Being a burden would be going to someone 24/7 every single hour of the day saying, I am this, and expecting them to help you. When people have lives, they have stuff to do. We all do. That's a burden. But just talking to someone, trying to get your emotions out, telling someone how you feel, even if it's just saying, oh, I had a stressful day at work, that's not being a burden. It's not a bad thing to vent to people. It's what we do. It's how we get emotions off our back. It's how we, you're not dropping all your baggage on them. For me personally, I find it easier to do it to strangers. As horrible as it sounds, I feel less guilty. And I myself am actually guilty of, thinking... When I get close to anyone, I feel like I'm being a burden. When I, spew my emotions out. And I shouldn't do. Then that's what I've been trying, and I've been trying to fight it. Every time I feel like crap, I'll say. But sometimes you can deal with your own, sometimes you need advice. Sometimes you need help. Sometimes you just need someone to talk to. Just to let everything out. Just to get it out of your system. But telling everyone to stay positive is the most bullshit fucking advice ever. You can't stay positive and expect your feelings to go away. You can't. It doesn't work. And people are just trying to tell you, oh yeah, just change your mindset, change this. It's all about how you're thinking. No, it ain't. When the fuck would you want to think yourself into depression? Or into feeling like shit? Or into just feeling like absolute crap? You wouldn't. And that's not how, And so many people try and give this. And there's even so many people out there who literally, I come across a lot, who don't believe in mental health. Borderline. And you think, oh yeah, everyone's just over-exaggerating their problems. And it's just like back when, you can talk about mental health. It's a big stigma. And it's ridiculous because you can't not talk about it. Everyone has it. Everyone deals with emotions. Everyone deals with cognitive functions, with processing different things every day, with dealing with things, be it debt, be it, physical abuse, be it, just daily stresses. We all deal with it. Yet everyone likes to think that, oh no, we don't. Just psychologists and people that just whinge and try and convince you, oh, you have this, or people just whinge that they have problems to a therapist while the therapist takes money from them. I fucking don't. Everyone has shit that's piled on. Everyone has emotional baggage. And it's very rare that you won't. Just like everyone has something not wrong with them, but everyone has something. If you don't have a condition, then it's more likely that everyone does, has a defense mechanism. We all have psychological defense mechanisms. One of them being denial. One of them being projection, where, a husband will come home from being shouted at by his boss and shout at his wife and kids, and then the wife will shout at, her kids, and it keeps going and going. That's projection. And then you got, other ones, and there's bad ones and there's good ones. But everyone has them, just like everyone has, some people can be ignorant, some people can be very self-centered and, just think about themselves. Others can see themselves as a one-island man. I only care for my own. I don't care for anyone else. Why should I care for anyone else? Very separated from the world. And everyone has these. And people who tell you, just be positive, just focus on something else, just don't think about it. The only reason they're telling you that is because that's the only advice they've had for themselves. That's the only thing that's kept them going. And that doesn't work for everyone else. Just like there's not one fix that works for everyone else. It's the same with therapy. Therapy will work for some people, but some people also need, other types of therapy. They also need antidepressants as well. Not everyone needs both. Not everyone needs one. But not one fits all the sizes. Not everyone can be just it's like telling everyone, oh, you're beautiful. Every day. It's not going to work for everyone. Some people, have insecurity, and could be from, I don't know, bullying as a young age, or it could just be a lack of confidence that developed from something else. But telling someone to stay positive, don't do that. Don't do that every single time they feel like shit. And don't ever say to them, you don't have a right to be this. You don't have a right to feel this. The fuck? There's no right. There's no fucking legislation. There's no, law saying you don't have a right to this. It's something we biologically, psychologically, physically feel. It's not something you could just shut off on a switch. We have to learn ways of coping. For some, telling themselves, oh, this is just life. This is just what it's going to be like. Or, oh, this is just, just how it's going to be. That's alright for them. It's not alright for everyone else. So when someone gives you that advice, just remember they're literally just telling you what they told themselves. Take it with the biggest pinch of salt. They're trying to help, but they don't know how to. At the end of the day. And some of them, they just want to convince themselves that, oh, no one has problems. Everyone's just whinging. Everyone's just being so fucking sensitive, and, everyone can deal with anything. All humans can deal with the same shit. When down, no. Some people are more able to deal with stuff. And others are just able to shut shit out. While that sounds good, it's not good. The more you bloody repress, the worse you're going to get. So while it's alright for some, it's not alright for all of them. So when you feel like a burden, when someone tells you, just stay positive. 1, venting, saying how you feel. It could be to do with grief. It could, it could be because you lost someone. It could be because you lost your job. It could be anything. Do not hold that in. You need to let it out. Even let it out on a stranger if you really feel that confident. It can just help just to get out your system. You're not being a burden. Just by showing your feelings, just by expressing them, just trying to let them out. And you're not being a burden by having them. Everyone has feelings. Everyone has emotions. Every single person. Some people lack some. Doesn't mean they won't suffer. And everyone goes through these. From the poorest man to the most richest one, they all go through this swing of, I feel like shit. Or it could just go to even from shit to, severe. To the point where you feel like there's no point in anything. Complete nihilism. And it can go from 1 to 100 with everyone. And we all need to get out of our system. We all need to just, that you're not being a burden by having them or trying to get them out. And when someone tries to give you advice to help and they give you that sort of thing, just take a breath and know that, you know your emotions are valid. That the person talking to you doesn't have a clue what they're saying. Doesn't have an idea. They're just telling you their coping mechanism. And everyone has different ones. Some people smoke. Some people drink. Some people do drugs. And some people self-harm. It's all a coping mechanism. No matter how much you argue about it, it's actually a coping mechanism. It's all just a way to cope. And people will jump down my throat a minute I say this, and I'm not stupid. But it is. For some, having the pain takes their mind off it. Smoking, drinking, drugs, they're all antidepressants. They'll get rid of it for a while, then it'll come back. It's the equivalent of trying to block it out, repress it. It doesn't do shit. They're supposed to keep coming back to it. Some people can just, just take a breath and they can just try and forget about it. Their best thing to do is get it out of your system. For some people, they just need a weekly cry. Or a monthly cry, or just a monthly... some people just need to get anger out. Just need to break something. Maybe go to... I don't know, they used to have places for it, but maybe go to, a place where you can smash stuff up. There is places like that in America. I'm not sure about where I am. But no, you're not being a burden for experiencing anything. Everyone deals with something. That's not me trying to tell you, it's nothing special. Everyone deals with it, but it's not trying to tell you, everyone deals with it, get over yourself. You can't always get over yourself. You cannot always tell yourself that. Some people will need help. Some people just need someone to talk to. And some people just need to let everything out. Everything they've been holding in. Every single thing. Sometimes they need to talk about something that happened years ago that affected them deeply. And sometimes people just need to shut off. But it's not always the same for everyone else. We're all individual. We all, as much as we're all humans, there's biological differences. And psychologically, we're all influenced. We were all brought up differently. We all had a different society. Everyone has a different outlook on life. Everyone has a different way of thinking. Everyone's personalities are shaped differently. This could be through genetics. This could be through, attachment. It could be through early childhood experiences. It all shapes us differently. We are all individual and different. So when you experience something and when you feel so low, or even just a little bit, you're not a burden for feeling it. Don't ever think that. And don't ever let anyone tell you that you don't have a right to have emotions or that you shouldn't feel like this. Don't ever. Don't let them. Let them do it themselves. Let them shut out their emotions. Convince themselves that they'll be fine. Convince themselves that, tell themselves that, oh, I'm okay. Will heal heal all their problems. Let them suffer. You can't help everyone, worse luck. Some people are too arrogant and ignorant to even admit anything. Some to admit they have any problems, some to admit they have any emotions. But don't ever let anyone convince you that you're a burden for experiencing something as common as feelings. I want you to get them out. Don't ever. I'm sorry, this has been quite angry. It seems to be a common thing nowadays. People like to tell themselves that they'll be okay. And that, mental health doesn't exist. It's all just in your head. It's all just you being, stupid. Over-exaggerating. It's not bothers you, it bothers you for a reason. And if you go over-exaggerate, there's a reason behind it. Nothing happens purely with no reason. Nothing. As much as I would love to believe in the free will aspect, determinism does seem to win. Everything is determined. Everything has a cause and effect. For something spontaneous to happen it's rare. And emotions come and go. But remember, they're temporary. They'll pass and they'll leave. But don't feel burdened. Don't feel like don't feel like you're being a bother to talk to someone, tell them how you feel, or the feeling like you feel. Don't ever. Because that is not true. It's so far from truth. It's the most biggest illusion, the most biggest lie that anyone can tell themselves. It's the worst thing to anyone tell anyone. Everyone is weak. We're all impressionable. What do I mean by weak? I mean we're weak to our emotions. Some can fight it, some give in. Everyone is weak to the world around us. Why do you think we all get upset? Why do you think everyone gets, happy and stuff? Why do you think everyone gets emotions? Because we are affected. We're affected by different things. Some by more severe ones, some by minor ones. Everyone gets affected by emotions. Everyone gets affected by small things. From something your boss said to someone saying that rises your insecurity, or maybe thinks you anything related to abandonment. And maybe that sets you off wall. Maybe it sets you off. Everyone experiences this. And anyone who tries to tell you anything different is the biggest fucking bullshit on the earth. So, vent out when you feel like shit. Talk to someone when you feel that low. And you are never being a burden for feeling, for existing, for suffering. Everyone suffers, but that doesn't make it any less valid for you too. I have no idea how to end this, so I'm just going to end this here. Wasn't trying to make this more an angry one, but hopefully I got a message across. Bye.